Considered Edition, now live on YouTube and Alpha. Last night was the 5th episode of Game of Thrones Season 7, which means it's time to break it down, so beware, like winter, spoilers are here. And with that, let's get into it. Wow, it is showing, isn't it? I'm just telling you a very interesting story about my Sunday. That's all, guys. Joining us today is managing editor for Nerdist.com and the only person who went back and actually counted the number of steps in the Citadel. Alicia Luke.
Thank you. I don't want to shade Marwyn or Walgrave or whichever one, but he was off by like 6.
As well as mothership writer and grill master of Danny's Dragon Barbecue. It smells like chicken. Amy Marple.
Yes, your classic meat master.
I don't know if that's the title you want to give yourself.
That is the title
that
I want to give myself.
Yeah.
Also joining us is Kyle Anderson, associate editor for Nerdist.com, and the guy who has to cover for Gendry in the blacksmith shop while he's away.
But maybe come back soonish.
Get those arms ready to roast some more. And finally, Nerdist producer and the last true Targaryen, Jason Wynn.
Oh my gosh.
Yay.
We can call you Young Griff now.
That's me.
Which I feel like works just for you in general, Young Griff.
Young Griff.
Young Griff over
Call
here.
me Young Rhaegar. Just kidding, he was terrible. I don't want to be him.
All right, so what did you guys think about episode 5, Eastwatch?
Oh, it's Jim Pats.
Go ahead, Alicia, go.
I just have a lot of feelings. I don't necessarily have words to express them. I just love this episode so much, especially because of Gendry, which has been my Everest. I have been dying on this hill for Gendry to come back.
Most people
Yeah.
have been really
Yes.
like, finally it happened for
Yes,
them.
but I did the research on the season 5 red carpet, season 5, season 6. I did the work, and I'm just so thrilled he's here, and he's muscly and wonderful, and he's with my other 2 Game of Thrones boyfriends about to go like Suicide Squad and everyone. I'm so happy.
Yeah, Gendry's looking toy.
Listen,
What are your thoughts?
We're all horned up for Gendry. And it's big. It's big that he's back. I just wanted more of it, man. I wanted to see him rowing. I wanted to see him hit the shore with his boat. I wanted to see the whole thing. I wanted the Breaking Bad recap of where Gendry was. But he just was
What do you
just
mean
there.
where he was? He's just been making swords.
I know, and I
Yeah.
wasn't satisfied.
You
I
wanted
wanted
a sword
more.
montage?
Yeah, I wanted him making swords and making that hammer. Where do you get that hammer? It's so cool.
I wouldn't say no to that.
I know.
Yeah.
How about the spin-off is just watching Gendry
Make
iron
things.
things?
It's like a Thistle House, but it's just him.
That'll be there behind the scenes footage when the whole collector's edition comes out or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also thought it was great, and any episode that basically builds and sets out a magnificent 7 of people, I was like super stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they got away with a lot of really good story, and they didn't need spectacle this time. Like, we got some really cool battles the last 2
Yep,
and 3
and we're gonna get one
times,
next week, too.
We know we're gonna get one next week.
Yeah.
We know that the finale is gonna look awesome. So I thought as far as scene work and writing went, it was really awesome without needing any of the flash and trash.
Pomp and circumstance.
Yeah.
Or flash and trash. I never heard that before, and I'm stealing it for
Flash and
future
trash.
conversation.
Oh, so good.
All right, so we got this question from Lost the Numbers. He asks, what was your favorite low-key moment that the show blazed by? Why don't we start with you? Go ahead, Amy.
Oh,
there
my
anything you got?
favorite low key moment that they just
Kind of
scooted
over.
Yeah. I guess I really did enjoy the. Oh man, we were going to talk about it earlier in Old Town, but for Bran, I think that moment where he walks into the birds and he just goes, yeah, we need to send a raven. I mean, I don't know that I agree that they blazed by it, but I think that was a really short, clear moment that scared the pants off of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the Night King looking up at him and his
yeah, that
ravens
was
they're
interesting.
connected
and stuff. Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh, so chilling.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, the connection there that they showed.
Yeah.
Jason?
Oh, I know what mine was. That's when Jon Snow is about to leave, and she's like, "Aren't you happy that that I'm about to leave?" And she's like, "No, I grew fond of you." I was like, "Oh, there you go, baby."
Danny is always so
Danny.
thirsty.
I-
Danny is
Live in
literally
that
always so
moment.
thirsty.
But I wanted to
for
get it. I
any
wanted
dude
to
that
have
shows
it.
up that's not Sir
You
Jorah
want them to
possible.
like
Yes.
get together?
I want them. Let it be known that I
She
want
is-
them to do it.
His blood aunt.
Good, good.
I can't
Then that's
support
what two Targaryens are supposed to do. Good.
Like,
do it all the
That's
time.
true.
They
That
do
is
it.
true.
Yeah.
They do it all the time, and in their
A lot of sister
culture
wives
and
going on.
world,
Yeah.
it's totally acceptable. However, on a personal level, I just don't want to see that. I think he can do
do.
better than Danny.
Don't shame their culture. Let
And
them
besides,
bang.
the way that I've got my potential theory happening in my head, I don't think it's gonna work.
theories.
What was your favorite thing?
I actually really love the moment in the Citadel because I'm a huge dork and I love all the history stuff. And they made mentions about the other prophecies from the different gods, like the drowned god and stuff. And then Aegon's the conqueror that was supposed to come from Aegon. And I think that this was such an interesting moment in terms of the story that's playing both above and below the fold right now, sort of with the religions and the magic and what's happening and prophecies that have happened in the past and which ones there are to believe and which ones have maybe been valid in the past, but because the people with all the knowledge are like, pish posh, this couldn't happen, you know, bad things have happened. And I really love sort of the look at magic and knowledge and what can be controlled and what can't and all of that like goobery stuff.
Little balance that they've got kind of going on.
Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Sir.
I was a big fan of how much the show is trolling us this week. First,
How so?
The first shot of the episode is Jaime and Bronn just standing up out of the water, being like, "Well, I'm glad that's over. We're 1,000 miles away from what is happening." Were they underwater that whole time? Like, look how far they are.
That's
Well, what if
is
it's
not-
what if it was like a fast river and they got carried
And
by
we
the
spent,
current a
we
little
spent
bit?
so much time over the last week on this website and just in general being like, you know, how is he going to survive his, you know, you even said like his armor's way too heavy and it would have sunk.
I will say
And they're
that
just like, nah, we're fine.
I had a problem with that too. Like a man lifting another plate-mailed man out of the water. They made
Yeah.
it look, you know, severe and difficult.
Have you
but
tried to
not-
walk in water with boots on? Like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
imagine
You
that.
can't hold
Leather
that
and
against
metal.
it. This season has been all about just fast travel.
No, I know. That's why I liked it.
Fast
I
travel,
was just like,
agree
who
there.
You can
cares?
do it in Skyrim. You
Yeah,
can do it in Westeros.
you
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah.
either just be on board or not be on board,
Yeah.
but you can't keep changing back and forth. Like it can't be okay tomorrow, and it can't,
Yeah,
you know, and be a
they
problem
are
today.
they are leaning in to the way that moving works.
Maybe when winter actually showed up, it just sped time in all
Exactly.
like,
I
fastest
also
of
like-
it.
Winter's here. We don't got time to waste
There-
scenes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we gotta go. We gotta get on a boat and get to and from
Yeah.
Dragonstone.
Well, I
and
wish
King's Landing in
winter
5
would
seconds.
show up here in Los Angeles traffic. Am I right?
Oh my God,
Boo. Boo-ness.
no.
Shame.
Loved it.
Shame.
Loved it.
Shame. Shame.
Okay.
Shame. All right, moving on. Don't ever do that. Let's get into this. Now, the biggest reveal of the episode, Jon Snow's heritage. It's 99.9% official, I would say. Jon Snow is a full-blooded Targaryen, although not really full. I
he's-
mean,
He was
Lyanna-
always full. He's a
Legitimate.
true-born,
He's a
legitimate
true,
Targaryen
yeah,
now.
he's not. I wouldn't call it full-blooded. I'd call it a true-born, legit Targaryen.
Yep.
What do you think about how they revealed all this?
I love this because it's a character who doesn't know anything talking to
Yes.
a character who should know something but is
Yeah.
preoccupied with everything.
Exactly.
And it was only for us to be like, wait, what?
This is why you always listen to your girlfriend when she's talking to you.
Yeah.
Literally. Literally. Come on.
She didn't have a great lead up to it though. Like,
What does annulment mean?
I love
about
how
all the
Gilly. I love how Gilly also. Well, you know, it also kind of when she calls him out on the number and stuff, it shows that despite her lack of education, like she's really smart
Yes.
and like really able to kind of go toe to toe
Yeah.
with Samwell a bit if she was given the tools necessary to do so.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was a kind of a little cool nod to her and the exchange and the relationship that they have, even though I gotta be like, dude, you can't take your, you know, frustrations out on your girl. She's
Yeah.
just she said she don't want to read those books either. They're boring.
Yeah.
She's just
But
taking
she's
care of
doing it
business.
for you
Yeah.
to learn
Wait,
shit.
I have a question.
Come on.
Maybe this is for Alicia, but okay, so let's say Jon Snow was the bastard child of Rhaegar. What would his last name be if it's not Snow?
It would be Targaryen.
Take your father's.
He would be
Yeah.
Targaryen.
It would
take
still
the
be
father's name.
Targaryen?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
because Lyanna, after they got married, would
She's
have
just a
taken
girl.
Targaryen's last
But-
name.
but-
Are you asking? Are you asking
No.
if he was a Targaryen bastard?
Yeah,
what
because
would
a
his last
Stark
name- what would-
bastard is Snow,
okay,
and then
so
we've got
no,
Sand.
No. Actually,
Okay.
bastards are based on where you are actually born. So Snow is
Physically born.
because he's
Got
in
it.
the north.
So
So
he
if
would
he was
be
born
sand.
in Dorne, he would technically be a sand.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So then would he be
Changes
John
nothing,
Fire?
but-
John
What-
Snake,
what?
John Sand.
John Dragon Man? What is the Targaryen Snow
All right, let's
then?
move on to. Don't worry.
It's not
Don't worry
based,
about it.
It's not based on that.
Okay, all right. All right, cool.
All right,
Rewatch
so
this.
this does mean that Jon has a stronger claim to the throne than Dany, potentially. I mean, really, he does.
Legally.
Once it gets, legally. How do you think this tension will play out once Jon learns the truth? This kind of extends into my little theory that I think, and we saw a little bit of it today, that she's going a little hard. She's leaning more towards crazy pants. I don't know if she'll go full crazy, but she's leaning towards crazy. And I think that when she becomes successful or is close to being successful as far as getting what she wants, and then it's discovered that Jon has a better claim to the throne, I hope that there's a big chance that she turns on Jon and the two battle it out. Dragon v. dragon.
I
Because
agree
now her dragon,
completely.
like they're,
Yeah, so there
swapped.
is something about this relationship, whether or not you agree with Jon and Dany at all, being kissing nephew out, whatever.
I agree.
Is that with if you look at the prophecies, if you look at the Long Night, if you look at Azor Ahai, the Stallion Mounts of the Realm, like all of these prophecies, one of the big things with the Long Night and the last kind of hero that saved the day is he had to plunge his sword into the heart of the woman he loved. And be the sword plunger being Dany or Jon Snow, I tend to believe that it's going to be Dany who is going to be betrayed because she needs 3 betrayals. It's another thing, we'll get into all of that later. But she, in order to be, to fulfill these prophecies, there really is a big part of me that believes that Dany will freak out about this. She has lived and worked her whole life. She's been sold, raped, this, that, and the other. She's going to freak out and not be happy about this and still want Jon to bend the knee, but everyone's going to be more in favor of Jon. So Jon is probably going to have to kill her by, forging his sword in her heart.
What if Jon makes her die with one of her own dragons, like she did to the Tarleys?
That could be savage.
Oh, I mean, if you're gonna hurt somebody, you might as well really fucking hurt them.
Yeah.
Or-
Emotionally. Because you know what? You can, unless you're dying, you can always heal from physical pain, but emotional pain lasts forever, guys. I just want you to have that little bit of info.
Yeah.
It's a sword that goes deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you really want to mess with somebody, don't bother physically. Go emotionally. It really, really does the job. All right.
Break their
Anyway,
heart, as told by Joe Biden.
I just want to give everybody a one-up on life. When do you think that they're going to figure this out? Do you think Gilly's going to still have to read that poop book? Which I loved that they did that at the show.
I will say, I just binged Rick and Morty, and I've had just about enough poop references.
No, there's no such thing as binging Rick and Morty. That show's fantastic. All right,
It's a
but
fun
do you think,
rewatch.
when do you guys think that they're going to discover, like, when is the other shoe going to drop for Jon's heritage?
Possibly the end of this season. That could be like the big dun 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 at the end. I don't know.
But it honestly
soonish.
seems like no one cares though. But like no one cares right now in the show.
I don't think it's that they don't care. I just don't think that they're putting all of the pieces
Enough
together.
people they don't know yet.
I mean,
But this is one of the few times where information is given to us as the audience members, and none of the players in the show really know about this.
Well,
except Bran,
but
right?
what might happen is Gilly might be sitting in on some sort of moot and overhear Rhaegar and be like, "Oh, I remember him. That's how I learned the word annulment." And everyone's like, "Oh."
Yeah, I can see that happening. For sure.
It wouldn't surprise me if that's a thing. I have a very crazy theory that it's going to be Cersei who does it. And here's why. I think she might tell Dany to create some infighting in her group. We know that Cersei wants to meet with Dany. We know that she's like, we got to fight like Tywin fought, and we have to be sneaky and, very, very calculating about this. I could see if, there's many ways Cersei could get that information about Jon Snow's true parentage, including Maester Qyburn and all the other folks that live in King's Landing. So I could see her very much doing that as like a bloop, kind of a Littlefinger move to be like, all right, well, fuck you guys. Now you can fight over who actually deserves to be king more.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, or since we know the Golden Company is coming, this could be a chance where they bring young Griff, aka fake Aegon, aka fake Jon Snow, as is believed over in Essos, into the fold because he was a part of the Golden Company. So there are a lot of options, but I do see it becoming almost a political move that somebody makes to try and fuck up the game.
Also, can we call out how nice it is that they kind of adjusted the way that Cersei's handling this, where before everybody was like, oh, she's the one that's going to be crazy on the throne and going nuts and super, super brutal. And yes, that is true, she had been. But when she realized it wasn't working for her anymore, she like switched it up and got super swift and smart about it. And how she wants to approach Dany with this kind of more of an intellectual way of taking her out rather than the like, I want to go in and pummel everything with my fist. And I like that because it shows that she's still in control of her own mind.
Yeah, and she's learning from everything that's happened. Like, you're against dragons. You can't beat dragons. And even Cersei knows that.
Yeah.
Like, her little, scorpion flingers.
Yeah,
And
we're
Jamie
gonna
also
mention
mentions
that
like
early,
the Dothraki.
later.
He's like, we're not. Like, even if it was just the Dothraki versus us, there's no way we could win.
Yeah.
Like, I love the realism of Jamie being like, look, I've been in a million wars, and like, we're not gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like they're doing it as best as they could possibly
Yeah.
do it, considering the position they're in. All right, so Jon shared a bonding moment with the dragons, reiterating his bloodline. Do you think Dany will begin to notice the tie that they have with each other? Yeah.
She
Already
already
did.
noticed,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yes, answer yes. Although I am
question.
curious to see how much further they push it.
A part of me wants it to be a troll. A part of me wants it to be like, he's just good with dragons. You know what I mean? Like, why can't? Do you have to be a Targaryen?
Kinda
No,
Tyrion.
you don't actually. You
Yeah.
don't have to be a Targaryen
Yeah.
to ride a dragon. There are things called dragon seeds, which are people that just happen to bond with dragons. There have
Dragon
been a few of them
It's
throughout
like
history.
when cats like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They normally don't like anybody, but if they like
I'm
you,
one of those
you're
then.
a cat seed.
Dragons are just like cats, actually, in
Yeah.
a lot
They
of ways.
kind of are.
Yeah, he's got a nice face. That dragon's like, I get it, you're fine. You know?
Yeah.
It could
He's
be.
like, you seem chill.
Yeah, it could be
Yeah.
that. It could be that because Dany trusts him. I mean, who knows?
Could be because he's technically already dead.
Although,
Yeah.
it could. Yeah, it could be that he's dead.
Yeah.
could be
And it's-
several things.
Yeah, who knows? I would lean more towards the fact that it's the blood, but I guess the other options are there on the table. All right, is this setting us up for a future Jon Snow dragon riding moment?
I think it has to.
Yeah.
There's two more dragons, and they're getting no play at all. Like,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to.
And the
Yeah,
dragons
that's-
love John. Like,
Yeah.
you saw him, kind of be like, I'm not a Stark, and be like, I know who you are. As he,
Yeah.
like,
Oh.
flipped
I wonder
off.
if
I
that's
know he's
how-
riding Rhaegar.
I wonder
No,
if that's
he's
how
riding
he
Rhaegar.
gets
gotta be.
saved next episode.
Maybe.
My
Beyond
heart.
the wall, and
My
he's like,
whole heart.
what's that? Dracarys, and
that
like they
word?
just light him up.
Yeah.
You know?
I would love it so hard if one of the dragons just came over. I honestly kind of hope that's what's going to
this
happen.
this scene right here, that broke my heart.
Where they're
Yeah.
serving some charred dick on.
Oh,
Come on.
God, what's going on with this side of the table today?
I don't know, greatness. I'm looking at
They're fucking from Flea Bottom.
ocular lesions.
Alicia, explain the three-headed dragon prophecy and who we think will end up riding them at the end of when it's all said and done.
Okay, so hold on to your butts, guys. Three-headed dragon prophecy. We actually saw this in the books and also in the show when Dany was in Karth. So if you remember, she had the
Wait, can I
crazy
interrupt really
dreams.
fast?
Yes.
Because this one's a better joke along your lines. Casey Jackson says, who else is craving Kentucky Fried Dickens?
You guys nailed that.
Now
Nailed
that's
it, nailed it,
funny.
nailed it. That was great.
I'll just go kill myself.
That's a little too much. All right, sorry. Okay, I just saw that and I was like, ooh!
No, that was a good one and definitely worth the pause. So the three-headed dragon in Dany's prophetic dream in Karth, whatever you want to say that is, Rhaegar's there and he says the dragon has three heads. And so you can take that to mean many things. You could take that to mean the three heads of the Return of the Targaryens is three people. It could be the dragon, the prince that was promised, has three dragons. And the number 3 comes up a lot of times in this sort of like mystical prophetic stuff in terms of what's going on with the prince that was promised. What is also interesting to know about it, the 3-head thing, is you could take it a different way in that the prince that was promised, the stallion who mounts the world, and Azor Ahai are 3 basically different prophecies of the same thing. So that's another instance where it could just end up being Dany is the only person that rides the dragons. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Jon Snow will also end up riding a dragon. But I think that this is one of those instances where you can take it very literally, and it could totally 100% play out that way with Tyrion, Jon, and Dany, who if the 3 heads of the dragon is literal, that's who I think it's going to be. But it could be so many other things, and
could it be the 3 different houses? Like, what if Cersei ends up riding one, or Jaime,
or the Night King could end up riding one.
3 different. I mean, I agree. Yeah. Not the best, but I mean, 3 different houses flying 3 different dragons that have to unite for a common evil.
Exactly. And but this is the thing that which is why I made that joke before about The Incredibles and Harry Potter playing so much into Game of Thrones, because like the Neville Longbottom Harry Potter, spoiler alert guys, very old Harry Potter spoiler, being that either one of them really could have fulfilled the Voldemort prophecy, I think is very much sort of coming into play here, especially with Jon and Dany. And the dragon having 3 heads, how that plays into that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be all good or all evil.
Well, if it is 3 people, who do you think? Jon, Dany, and then
my thought is Tyrion.
Okay.
So
I think they might be hinting that, like, okay, if giants can be turned into whites, dragons,
I think,
maybe.
Yes, I 100%.
A dragon's
think
got to die. I think a dragon has got to die in this show at some point.
Yeah.
And I think the Night King's gonna bring back the dragon, and it's gonna breathe ice, and it's gonna be the fucking ghoulish.
I truly agree with this. I've been saying that I think we're gonna get an ice dragon for a minute, but I think that could happen even in the finale.
Oh man.
You know, like, to show the real power that the Night King has, because we really don't know the full extent of his powers being the controller of the dead.
He can see Bran, like, through his time bullshit.
I mean, Bran might warg into one of the dragons. That's another theory. There's so many theories, you guys. I see them all in the comments. We could, if I went through all of them and pointed out anybody that could potentially be a dragon, it would be 55 minutes of me just saying names. So,
and I have a meeting at 2, so we gotta move on. All right, so on to the other Targaryen, Dany and her hand, Tyrion. Rip House Tarly, kind of. Samwell's still around. Daenerys decided to offer a choice to the Lannister soldiers, bend the knee or die, and the Tarly boys were like, nope, and then thus toast. Do you think this move was too extreme? I have to say, yeah. I think it was. I think that, what's the name of the elder one?
Randall.
Randall. I think he made a good point. Like, he, and I just felt she handled that really poorly.
I also disagree. I think she's still, as much as she's trying to change the game, she's still in the game, and that was kind of like the path of least resistance. And it was her way of, we saw it very, like, resistance is futile. This is what happens.
I mean,
and
but how does that make her any different from Cersei?
Exactly.
It's the same choice as Jon Snow hanging the people who betrayed him. It's like, you need to show.
Yeah, but Jon's not going around saying he's different from anybody.
Yeah.
Well, she is different from everybody, and she needs to show that by force. You bend the knee or you fucking die. That's the Game of Thrones, y'all.
I so disagree.
Her whole deal is about how she's a breaker of chains. She just put metaphysical chains on them by making them.
She the wheel.
She only killed 2 when she could have killed 50.
I don't.
Well, that doesn't.
I think it's bullshit.
And she killed the 2 most important ones on the field.
Yeah, she slaughtered a whole house.
She could have gotten them to come over to her side by not being that leader. She could have. I think from the jump, I don't think she necessarily should have even brought the dragons the way that she did. I think that this was a moment, and I think that we saw that with Tyrion and the way that he responded. She should have been the ruler that is truly different and not killed them and been like, you know what? That's fine. This is up to you. I've got fucking dragons. I know what I'm doing here. If you feel like you want to go back to Cersei, tell her what you saw here.
Because her letting those, exactly.
That's the stronger move.
She has so few people survived that by letting those guys go, it's not going to make a dent one way or the other.
No, it does. I support it because she's learned valuable lessons about mercy. It's something she struggled with the entire show. Is like, when is mercy necessary?
She's never really been great at showing mercy.
No, I think we just saw that, like, the Tarlys, as much as other people might want a different queen, like, they are still playing this Westeros game.
Yeah.
And in Essos, they were playing a totally different slave game. And the fact that the Tarleys are like, but I won't bend the knee, and this still means something to it. It just means that she's got to.
She's trying to break the wheel.
Yeah, if she needs to break the wheel, she's got
break
to
the
play
wheel.
the
I
game
don't think that was the way to break
And
the
they
wheel.
suck. They suck. Those Tarleys suck.
No, it doesn't matter if
Yeah.
they suck. It's the principle of the matter. It's a great old house, as everyone was saying. Like, this is, if you want to talk about the rules and the games of the realm, it's more about respect than it is, this person wouldn't want to bend the knee. Like, I think that she could have respected, considering their point of view. She, as far as they're concerned, is an outsider that never lived in Westeros and is just showing up with a bunch of Dothraki being like, I deserve this. The way that she could have been smarter about this would have been like, you can have your thoughts, you can have your opinions about how you think this game should be played. I'm going to be the bigger hero / savior and let you guys go and do your thing.
But
I
that's
really
coming.
think
I think that's coming.
Well,
I
gotta-
think it's too little too late.
I gotta move on. Both sides valid points. My point is what matters, though, and I say it made her look like a hypocrite. But I get both sides. All right, do you think Tyrion is having a little bit of buyer's remorse based off of this?
I don't know if it's buyer's remorse necessarily, but I think that that conversation that he has with Varys later on, where Varys is like, you have to,
need
let
to
her
learn
listen. And I think that was really important because every point that Tyrion brought up during that whole thing with the Tarleys was spot on. He's like, you guys have been following Cersei for like 10 seconds and you won't bend the knee to this other person, and then immediately being like, hey, you don't want to wipe out this whole great house, because what did Cersei just do? Like, destroyed Tyrell, and like now the Tarleys are gone too. So it's like, I think that Tyrion maybe he's still on her side overall, but I think that he definitely sees the potential problem coming, and I don't think there's any way around it now. Like, I think she's on that path, and he's going to need to convince her, or she's going to just be a tyrant.
That's why this show is so good, because everybody thinks they're a hero, especially also a villain. And this is like the ultimate build-up of somebody that has been through so much and has struggled so hard and is teetering on the right decision or the wrong decision every time. And she's just got to keep, a few more wrong decisions, and Dany is full-on villain.
Well, the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Exactly.
There's a reason those sayings are made. All right, so Jorah's back, you guys. And then he's leaving again. In and out. Oh, that's Jorah's whole life. Do you think he deserved to stay safe for a little while longer after the whole grayscale thing? He could have bought himself some time, but I also feel like you don't want to overstay your welcome. Like, she sent you away how many times now? Just, come on, dude.
Like, get the message.
Get the message. Do what you got to do to make yourself feel better, which is go and grab yourself a white, and
I do love the shade that Jon throws at him too, like afterwards.
What was the shade?
Well, just what the fuck, like he could
she
see
looks
some
so
romantic.
excited to see him.
Yeah, some romantic, like right there.
Like,
he's like, who the fuck are you?
This guy,
We're doing fine without you.
Sir Jorah of House Friend Zone. Their words are, but does no really mean no.
Oh my God, that is fantastic and true.
It was a sweet hug too, like
Right.
the way she hugs him.
Well, she almost looks like, obviously they did this on purpose, where they're like, make it look like you're about to kiss, and then just hug it out. And that was it. That was you, Jorah. All right, so the episode was titled Eastwatch, and we saw a band of misfits getting together to head that way at the end of the episode. Now, we briefly talked about Jorah's grayscale in previous iterations of this show. Does his going north of the Wall potentially confirm our theory that he will be immune to turning into a White Walker because of the grayscale?
I think so.
I
I think
think
you
so
guys were
too.
super on the money with that. Well done. Like, a round of applause for Nerdist News.
Let's not totally prop ourselves up yet, because we have yet to see it. But I
know,
think that
but
we're
I
probably
think there's a
pretty
very good
accurate.
chance you guys were
Solid
right. Yes.
Yeah.
solid
Why
chance.
else do you have Jorah get there and then go, sorry, my queen, I gotta peace out again?
Yeah,
Like,
I got a ditch.
come on. That would be the perfect time for him to be like, you know what, Jon Snow should definitely go away. I will stay right here,
Yeah.
just like hanging out by your side, Dany. Like, absolutely.
Who else do you guys think should join Jon's Snowicide squad?
I love that. I love that.
I love that.
That's
Props
brilliant.
to Snowicide Squad.
Yeah.
Huge.
You guys nailing it.
I mean, if you think about this No Size Squad as a D&D party, it's a shitty party. It's a bad mix of
Yeah, it is
too many fighters, no range.
Too many tanks.
No,
Yeah, too
no
many
spellcasters.
tanks. Too many tanks in the
Where
kitchen.
my
Game of
magic
Thrones,
at?
hashtag too many tanks.
Come on. You need a ranged fighter at best, y'all. Get a bow in there.
And we need Wildfire. We need
Yeah.
some casters.
yeah, you got too many paladins.
We got
Come
no
on, too many
healers
berserkers.
whatsoever.
But if we were gonna pack,
John's packing Phoenix down.
Yeah, look at this sausage
Never
fest
ending
walking
Phoenix
past the
down.
wall. Fucking
if we're
sausage
gonna
party.
add another paladin into the mix, it's Brienne.
Oh yeah, get Brienne in there.
Big woman. When he
You mean
said
another
the big
fighter?
woman,
Bad mix.
my
Bad
whole
mix.
heart, my
Yeah.
whole heart, Tormund wanted her to be there so badly. It was
Are you guys fighting the undead? No cleric? Dead. Everybody dead.
Yep.
Come on now.
I think Bran will
What
probably
about a bard?
join.
Who would be a bard?
Oh my God! You know it would be
Bran?
It would be Bronn, right? He'd be
Bronn. It
Bronn
has
would
to
be
be
dope.
Bronn.
Yeah.
It has to be Bronn because he
Actually,
sings.
yeah, Bronn the bard. Yeah, that
Which
would work.
I think you can only have either Bronn or Euron in an episode.
Guys, how have we not made this
because-
like? Let's market this as a true like D&D.
Yeah. I'll profile every
Can we-
character.
yeah,
baby.
let's do this, guys. Let's
I
make
will
this
learn
happen.
to play D&D.
Well, you have by watching the show.
yeah, that's
Twist.
basically it.
Samwell. See, if they took Samwell, Samwell would be the healer.
Oh yeah.
Or
yeah. He's the-
Melisandre.
Melisandre, well, I don't know. Can you trust her? I don't
No.
know. Does she heal, or does she just like try to fix her mistakes?
Reanimate.
She's a fire priest.
Chat says you have a cleric. It's Thoros.
No way, dude. He's a cleric. He's a paladin at best, dude. Sword gets on fire, paladin move. Come on.
All right. So, one of the other major moments from last night's episode, Gendry's back.
What's happening?
Ooh,
Yes.
baby. Ooh.
We've been talking about this thing for weeks, months, years, and we finally got the last Baratheon back, and he's joining Team Stark. Do you think this is where Gendry needs to be?
Hell yeah.
Answer: yes.
Good job,
The
Game of
Ned
Thrones.
and Robert reboot we have been waiting for.
I
This is
love
better
that.
than the original.
That conversation was so good.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I can't. I just want to stare at them.
They're like, our dads were friends. Let's
Yeah.
be friends.
Yeah. Oh, I
It
love
was
that.
so cute. It
Yeah.
was so cute. He was like, I'm Gendry. I'm Robert Baratheon's
Yeah.
son. I just.
Although, can we just take a moment and just realize that this all happened if what we say about Jon and Lyanna and Targaryen are all true, that Robert Baratheon is a total, like, just go F yourself, dude, because you caused this entire shitstorm to go down because you couldn't take no for an answer. Like,
Yeah,
get
but
off.
somebody had
get
to
off your
overthrow
jock.
the Mad King.
Get off
Someone
your jock,
had to.
Robert.
I know.
What I think,
Bobby.
what I
What are you
think
doing,
was
Bobby?
really cool about Gendry's appearance is that we've seen so much sword fighting and like. And
Yes.
some like tiny sword play with Arya, but like warhammering, it's a totally different
Yeah.
strategy,
Yeah.
and it's so cool.
Oh, you know that hammer's made of dragonstone too. You know.
Yeah.
It was a
Somebody
very,
found a legendary item.
Yeah. Wondrous item alert. Wondrous item.
Oh man, more jokes. I don't know. But no, I actually the black stone, not stone, the metal being
Oh,
so.
I felt bad for
Dark
that guy.
face,
Oh, that one.
dead.
That's not fair.
It's crazy, but I think there's actually a lot to that, Jason, that you brought up with Gendry having worked under Tobos Ma, who was a Volunteese the blacksmith that has lived in King's Landing for, and I don't remember exactly how long, but I know Tywin brought him specifically because he can mess with Valyrian steel, and we've got a bunch of dragonglass. We got Gendry, and they're all in the north. If we just need a dragon, he probably he's been training. I think he
can't
knows
help
how to
but
do dragonglass.
consistently think of Skyrim. The whole time you're talking, I'm like, yeah, Gendry's leveled up his blacksmithing ability.
It's maxed out.
He's maxed out his
That's all he's
blacksmithing,
done.
and
It's
now
good.
he's all about working on that two-hand, melee. Yeah, I got it, man. It's just like, oh, fuck, I can't stop. I gotta go play.
I love that
I gotta go play
Gendry.
Skyrim, guys. Gotta leave the table.
Gendry's been in Flea Bottom for like, as far as we know, like 4 years, and he in this one episode goes from Flea Bottom to Dragonstone to
Yes.
Eastwatch.
Yeah.
He's done so much traveling in this one
His
episode.
lifetime.
It took him 4 years to
Yeah.
row
Fast
from
travel.
Dragonstone
I would
to-
imagine like he's a good rower, so they probably got really.
They're really fast.
He's like a
Do you
speedboat
know
at this
what
point.
doesn't? Do you know what doesn't add up though? Is that man for sure had some tail that he did not say goodbye to.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But he don't need to say goodbye.
He
Don't
was
worry.
like, I'm out.
Listen, heartbreaker's gonna heartbreak. Like, that's fine. And besides, he needs to get up north so he can fall in love with Arya and they can be in love and together again because he had a crush on her and called her Milady.
Oh man, talk about that connection.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
Arya, way to pick him.
Lock it down.
Thank you.
Oh,
Girls
girl.
got some good taste.
Consider yourself lucky, Arya. All right, so from Twitter,
Put him on your list of snakes.
Screenplaya asks, what are the chances of Gendry taking his rightful throne as Robert's true heir?
Oh,
Zero.
boo.
No,
Not
he doesn't want
rightful.
that.
Yeah.
Not
doesn't.
rightful.
Yeah, Robert
think
doesn't
that
have a
would
rightful
happen.
true heir.
No, only to Cersei does he technically have
Yes.
but even then she's gonna be like, no, but then you're gonna take it from me, so
Yeah.
nah.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's
I
the
don't
last
see.
thing he
I think
wants.
his main goal is to use that leveled up blacksmithing ability to make Valyrian.
He's gonna
steel.
bash heads and he's gonna bash steel. That's all he wants
That's
to
it. That's all that's
Yeah,
happening
yeah.
with Gendry, and then he's
Yeah.
gonna hook up with Arya.
And he's gonna
and-
smooch Arya and she won't be so mean anymore.
Although I don't know, maybe I feel like Arya's soul is so dead at this point that she might not care.
Yeah, she's
Which
gonna
is
be
stupid
mellow.
because Gendry's looking fine, girl.
But yeah,
You think
look
this.
at his face and also his body and everything about him. Like, come on, Arya.
And his
Look at his
big
big old
hammer.
arms. Come on.
Big hammer. Ooh.
All right, in the teaser for next week's episode, we see the Hound swinging what looks to be Gendry's hammer. What are Gendry's odds of surviving the suicide mission? I think they're good.
Yeah.
I actually think that this is, and Jason's the one that brought this up earlier, I think it's more of a tag team where one smashed somebody's face in and then tossed it.
got ya.
And then smashed the face in. Yeah.
And if it's a particularly tall White Walker,
Yes.
you're gonna need.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
gonna need
and
him to-
he's got to go up against. There's literally a white walking giant
yeah.
there.
I want a
so,
fastball
like,
special from somebody. In
Oh my
next
God.
episode. Come on, throw Gendry at somebody. I want it to happen. I love this teaser. It made me laugh for like 15 minutes straight because the last shot you see is them walking in the snow valiantly, all 7 of them, and then it hard cuts to them running. So stressed out.
We messed up.
Bad plan. Horrible plan.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't Dany have just sent a dragon to go fly over,
That's what I'm
pluck
saying.
one out?
Yeah,
and,
It's
like,
the same thing with
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings
It's
and
the
the Eagles.
worst
It's just
plan.
like it's
I
so
didn't
No,
easy
well,
to
that's
just.
what they were. While they were at Dragonstone, they were like, so who's gonna go? Who's going to get a white?
Yeah.
Who's gonna do it?
Anyone?
And it's like the fucking dragon.
Damn it. What is
the
this
dragon.
plan?
You
We're
got
gonna go
3,
there.
even if
Tie him up. What is the plan?
the plan is bad. That's the plan.
Yeah, none of that really.
We're gonna tie this white up, okay? And then once we tie him up, Jamie's gonna sneak him in. We're gonna.
I think the problem is that this might end up with the Hound becoming a white.
Oh.
Yeah,
know.
I think.
I'm
I
so
think
sorry.
His time's up. No, I agree.
But I think that leads to an undead Clegane ball. So all the fans will still be happy.
I gotta move it along here.
guys?
Speaking of the Starks, let's check in on
other guys.
Winterfell. Littlefinger is clearly sowing the seeds of discontent between the Stark sisters, leaving that scroll out for Arya to discover. Alicia, what was on the scroll?
Oh, okay. So we have all actually seen this before. Fun fact: this is the letter that that Cersei made Sansa write way back in like season 1.
Oh,
beginning
no
of season
kidding. I forgot all
2,
about that.
When she was like, "Hey, Rob, like our dad's a traitor. He fucked up. Joffrey's treating me real nice. Please just bend the knee to Cersei so we can be done with this." Essentially, that is a very, very hackneyed way of summing that up. But that's what that is. So this is what Littlefinger is trying to use to continue to wedge between the Stark sisters.
And if
which
you
better
remember-
not work. It better not work.
Yeah, I
not
really
like-
hope that they
No,
don't
it
make
won't.
this Arya versus Sansa thing last because honestly, it makes Arya look. It just makes me not like her.
Yeah, and I love
Especially-
Arya.
And yeah, she's a good character. I really hope that they don't play these two off to be like.
My hope is that because it seems like this whole season, like Littlefinger's like, I have the upper hand, ha ha ha, and it would just be like, it's setting everything up to be like, oh yes, this is going to happen.
Yeah, it's
Arya
making
completely gets the wrong idea.
It's making
but it's
Littlefinger
not.
too potentially powerful.
Right, but I think it's the
Yeah.
opposite. I think that they're completely like hip to his
Well,
jive.
so you're gonna have to hold on. Sorry. From Kelly Knox, at Kelly Knox asks, and this might play into what you want to say. Do you think Arya knows that Littlefinger knows that Arya knows?
Yes.
Yes, all of
Yes.
that.
I think the
Yes.
answer is yes.
Yeah.
Jason, really fast. What did you want to say?
I'm just saying that I think the show's been alluding to Arya being disconnected from the Starks because when she goes and sees the wolves, it's not her wolves. They see her and accept her, but they don't kill her, and she's like, "That's not you." So she's on a path to being known. I don't think her family is going to be important to her anymore. I think his plan will work. Yes.
She's no longer part of the pack.
Yes, she's not
All
part
right.
of the pack anymore.
Does it feel like the show is manufacturing the Stark sisters' strife? Yes. Yes, it does.
Yes.
I'm not on board for that necessarily, though. Bran is still having visions using ravens, as one does. How much more do you think Bran's role is going to grow in the following episodes? Amy and I talked about this earlier, and to go on those RPG element rants, I think Bran is actually a passive ability. He is the glue that holds all of this together, and everything that he does is just what happens.
Yes.
So he has a big role in it, but it's from a backseat.
Yeah,
It's kind of the way that I look at it.
It's like passive control over the whole
Yeah.
situation. Don't forget, he is literally the first chapter you ever see in any of these books. The first point of view.
What if
first
this all turns out to
character.
be just flashback of Bran? And you're just like, oh.
And he's shaking his snow globe, and it
Yeah.
says Saint Elsewhere, and he's like, it was all great.
It's like Wonder Woman when she opens up her laptop and she sees the picture again, and you're just like, what? That whole movie was just a flashback? God damn
in the
it.
books, Bran wargs into people. Do you think he could? Well, I guess in Hodor too. Do you think he could warg into the Night King?
That's a good question. I don't know if because he's
I think
dead.
they're both one and the same. I think
that Bran
You
is the
think
Night
Bran
King?
is the Night King?
Shit!
Yeah.
Wait a minute. That's kind of tight, dude. I'm into
Yeah,
that.
I mean, if Bran can travel through multiple dimensions, what if the Night King is like the Berenstain Bears version,
fuck.
and Bran is the Berenstain Bears version?
Everything
and
in
now
my
they're
mind is
battling it
collapsing
out.
at
my
once.
God.
And this was all a big battle to save himself from turning into the Night King. I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Don't be kidding.
Wow, yeah, you took us on a
I'm
journey
100%
there.
into that.
Just saying. I mean,
I'll drink that Kool-Aid all day. I'm
I
into it.
mean,
That's a fun
He's
theory.
gonna do something that saves people's asses, like in an actual.
it does look at that face though. It does look like Bran.
Yeah, they're both
I mean,
emo
We
boys.
saw the guy. It is a Stark. It is allegedly a Stark, I believe.
Yeah, it's like
that is
whatever previous
the-
version of himself.
I
There
mean,
is that
if
theory
it's
that-
Bran or
multiple-
a Brendan or
Right.
a Rondon,
Bran is
blah,
multiple
blah, blah.
versions of himself throughout time.
Yeah.
How
Bran
is
is every
this
Bran.
not potentially his own self from a
all
different
Brans.
time?
Exactly.
And that's why they have
He's
the
crackling all
connection.
This okay. I mean, they have the connection because he touched him. Although maybe he touched him to be like, wait, you're a
Yeah,
Brandon.
that's what
you're
I'm
a
saying, man.
B-Stark.
This is a different
Star.
Brandon from a different time that got changed somehow, and so this Bran is like on the path to just my
We're
brain's
all
melting.
Brands. Oh my
All the
God.
brands
We're all
are connected.
My
Brandons.
brain.
All of us
I
are
do think
Brans.
though, Jessica, because you
Yeah.
said he's a passive, and I think that's true. But I think he's got one.
Oh yeah, there'll be that
active
one thing.
thing that he'll
Here's
do.
my
Yeah.
big
You know,
question.
warg into a dragon.
Why not just wheel him to the Citadel? Just wheel his ass to the Citadel
It
and
should
prove
take like
his
5
point.
seconds.
I know.
Right, yeah.
All right, I'm
not
like
gonna take
legit
long
getting
enough.
seriously hungry and starting to shake now, so we gotta move on. How do you think Sansa and Arya will be affected by the truth about Jon's real parents? I don't think they're gonna care.
Yeah.
I
No.
think Arya's above and beyond it with everybody at this
Right.
point, and I
Yeah.
think Sansa, you know, if
She might
anything,
go,
she
you know
might
what, then
make
that
a
means
pl-
that-
she might make a play to be the
Yeah.
the king of the North, since obviously everybody wants that. While Jon, if he goes up against Dany like we're proposing, then if he wins, becomes the king of overall.
Yeah.
Finding out that he's a Targaryen makes her the legitimate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
even though.
I mean,
even more so than
technically
now.
Bran, but Bran's like, I'm not Bran anymore.
Yeah, but Bran's not interested. Arya's not interested.
Yeah.
And yeah. All right, so moving on to the Lannisters. Jaime and Bronn are alive after their brief river swim. Jaime has to tell Cersei about Dany's dragons, and she's not too happy about the prospect of losing the war. Is Cersei really pregnant? I think yes, she is legit
think
pregnant.
absolutely not.
But I do not think she's going to have it. The prophecy from season 5, it said that she would only have 3 kids. Could she be faking it? You think she's faking it?
I think she's faking it.
That is a bitch move. Could
Yes,
she
she's
be?
she's the worst.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is she that bad? Could she be killed before she has her child? I think that's more likely
She
to
knows
happen.
that Jaime's loyalty is split, even still between
I don't know
Tyrion
though.
and her.
He's still doing what she wants.
Immediately upon being told that she's pregnant, he's like, "Who are you gonna say it is?" And she's like, "Yours." And he was like, "This is all I've ever wanted." And then she's like, "Don't ever betray me again."
Yeah.
So she is 100% manipulating him.
No, I
They're
think-
also not going to kill a pregnant woman on the show again.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, why?
Again.
Really,
Once
why
you
wouldn't
once
they?
you pop that bubble, you're not afraid
The
to pop
seal's
other
been broken.
Yeah, the seal's
Maybe
broken,
she's got a
dude.
shadow baby. Remember that? Remember we did that
I
in
didn't
the
mean
show?
pop
Yeah.
the bubble
Shadow
as in
baby.
like
Maybe
popping the bubble, like stabbing her
God,
in the
oh
stomach.
God.
I meant,
Oh my God.
didn't mean to go. That was all subconscious, guys, until it
It's
bubbled
okay.
to the surface.
You're a mom. It's fine.
Yeah, I get to say these things.
I think based on okay, this whole thing is Sansa pregnant of last year, but it's been going on for 12 years now since or whenever the last book came out. There's a lot of evidence in the books to prove that she is actually pregnant. You know, she talks a lot during some of those chapters that like, oh, my clothes are getting tight. Like, fuck, these terrible like handmaids are like being bad with my clothes.
Cersei?
So yes, Cersei. So I think that she could actually be pregnant. Doesn't necessarily mean it's Jaime's, but I think that she doesn't care. She doesn't
It's
actually
young
care about
Griff's
the baby.
baby.
No.
It's young Griff. She just is using it to keep him reeled in. Maybe she even had like a miscarriage, but is still playing on it. You know, like you don't know. But I think
What if
that
it's
there's
Euron's?
something.
Oh.
That would be. It comes out with dark brown hair, and he'll be like, "This is not my kid. Every other one came out with blonde hair. You can't lie to me."
So we got our Jaime and Tyrion reunion. Was it everything that you had hoped for?
I thought that was the best written scene in the whole show. That scene of like them both trying to make their points while still staying strong and not breaking down and hugging each other was perfect. It was everything I hoped for.
Everybody else,
those
yeah?
poor
Yeah.
little
You
boys.
see a lot of humanity in this scene. It's great.
How much trouble do you think Bronn is actually in?
None.
I don't think he's in
chill
any
city.
trouble.
He is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's made
He's
himself
cool as
use
ice.
He's
so-
been cool since the beginning.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He's the one
fine.
who's gonna like casually skip on top of one of the dragons and just be like, "Peace, I'm out!" Like, in
Yeah.
the middle of the dragon bed. Be like,
He
"I
shot
don't
the
know."
dragon.
I'm
He ain't scared of Cersei.
I am done with this. All right, so we also noticed that Drogon wasn't really affected by the scorpion from last episode's battle. I say that's because it hit him in the shoulder, and obviously you can bounce back for that. If that thing had been moved over just slightly to the right, he
Right.
would not be recovering. Does Cersei really understand how much trouble she's in? I think she's let on that she does, actually.
I
The
also
fact that
do
she's
wanna-
even interested in meeting with Dany at all
Yeah.
is a huge,
Yeah,
you know,
that's
lean
that's
towards that.
conceding that there is something.
She's got problems.
Yeah, you can't be so big-headed and narcissistic and crazy unless maybe your name is Donald Trump and believe that somebody has dragons and you're gonna beat them. Like the only person that would actually legitimately believe that they can beat dragons would
Also,
be
we
Donald
did.
Trump
I
and
do want to point
so
out that we
that's
did
it.
kind of we fast forwarded a lot, and like I said earlier, I think they're leaning into their fast travel. So we actually probably missed like 6 months of the dragon's recovery.
Oh, that was the other thing too about the episode when Samwell was like, "Oh yeah, Bran Stark was behind the wall for years." I was like, "Oh, is that where all the time went?" It's just like he would like because it wasn't
Right.
really.
You guys gotta
years,
let
but
this
apparently
time
it was
thing
years.
go.
Yeah.
It's not gonna get any better.
Oh, I know.
All right,
I know.
so other tidbits that we noticed. Now that Samwell Tarly is the last of the Tarleys, will he rise to the challenge and become what his father always hoped he would be? He's got the swords, some scrolls, and the attitude and the intelligence. So I think we're gonna see him really
He's got
kind
a
of
few.
step in with, and he's got a younger son who is now then continuing the Tarly line. I don't think this house is completely dead yet.
There's, first of all, we just have to say, Randall Tarly didn't want Sam to become anything other than dead because he didn't like Sam.
Yeah.
He never wanted Sam to become like a hero because he didn't think he was ever even possible. So I'm
Well, then we
happy
should
for him
say
to
for
supersede.
the challenge that his father set before him that
Yeah.
didn't think that he could actually do.
Fuck you, Dad. I hope.
I do like that we see Sam once again making decisions for himself and like going his own way, and he's always a subservient person.
He's really grown a lot in
but
this whole
but
thing.
he's saying fuck you to the man like several times now.
Yeah. All right, do you think that's it for the Maesters and the Citadel, or will they come back into play later? I think we'll
No,
see them
they're
again.
coming
I don't
back.
know how direct of a role they're going to play, though. Do you know what I mean?
mean,
everybody, there's so
totally
many other people that are in
depends.
the mix at this point. I just am curious to see
I
what
do want to see them
they've
change
got.
their mind though, and for Jim Broadbent to be like, "Oh, I'm such an idiot." Yeah, Sam, you're right. Raven,
I think he's dealing with Sam. I think he's playing subterfuge with all the other Maesters and as actually placing Sam where he needs Sam. Because he knows that Sam is the one to act on it, especially after the grayscale incident. I think he sees the
Yes.
big potential in Sam now and is like playing dumb as to what the actual problems are so that Sam acts on it, because the only way
agree.
to person to do it is him. because he can't, because they're Maesters. So, but Sam's technically just still Maester in training.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I think you're totally
Yeah,
right.
that makes
Shova.
a lot of sense.
And also, like, don't forget, Jim Broadbent's character is literally the one writing the Song of Ice and Fire right now. So, like, he also has some insight into, like, what maybe needs to happen. Like, you know,
Yeah.
he's the one that's been covering this and is writing the story of what's been going on since Robert's Rebellion. So he, you know, whether or not, I think that Jim Broadbent's Maester is definitely leaving some stuff close to the vest that he's not telling people.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
yeah. So
he's playing
he
he's
knows.
playing his own double game,
Absolutely.
double-sided game. All right, so let's take a quick look at what's coming up next week. Well, the one we got.
Oh.
Love this.
Death is the enemy. The first enemy and the last. The enemy always wins. And we still need to fight him.
You're scared, aren't you? What are you scared of?
The more and more I see the Night King, the more and more I'm obsessed with my theory that it's actually previous Bran.
All
What do
the
you guys think?
brands.
That one's gonna give me a panic attack. Like I'm like so
For
anxious
71
right
minutes
now.
of panic.
The only one that really, the only scene that really made me nervous out of that was the Stark and Arya confrontation, or the
Sansa
Stark,
looked-
Sansa
I-
and Arya confrontation. I really don't want to
is
see that go
stressful.
down.
That is
I don't
stressful.
I know. I had this moment when I first watched it. I was like, when, you know, Sansa's sort of taken aback, I was like, oh my god, tell me Arya just stabbed her. I will be so mad at her.
Sansa deserves a little bit more respect from her younger sister.
Yeah.
I think
For
so.
sure.
But I
Wow.
think can't Arya do face magic and like really
She
spy
can.
on Littlefinger?
She
like do face magic.
Well, I mean, she needs a dead person, I think, technically,
Yeah.
in order for that to work.
mean, there's
sure
only a
there's
million.
probably some dead people
Yeah.
around,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
if
really
Arya
want that to
ends
be
up,
true.
if Arya ends up killing Sansa or doing something really, really bad to her, I think I'm completely off Team Arya, and I actually want to see her die then.
I don't think she.
So
I don't
messed
think she'll
up.
kill any of her own, but I do think some shit's gonna go down.
I just want them to come together. Sisters should be sisters. They should be united in
Well,
love
let's
and family.
in the the season trailer before the season, there was still that audio of Arya saying that the pack is stronger or whatever she said, the wolf pack is stronger.
yeah.
So, and she still hasn't said that in the show.
I mean,
so.
and we don't know what she
Yeah.
could have been like. Littlefinger's playing you. I know all this stuff,
hope
and
so.
and
I
Sansa
really hope
Sansa would look
so.
the same either way. I know
That's
she's always
true.
got that
Yeah.
like that face.
That's
on.
true. It's a hard. Yeah.
She just
Who knows?
needs to kill Littlefinger. That's all I want. Is I just
No,
want her to
I
kill
Yeah,
Littlefinger.
maybe Arya's playing a long game and she just is like
Yeah, that's what I'm
doing all of
hoping.
this
I
in
hope
order
so,
to make
too.
Littlefinger feel that he's safe.
know.
In reality, he's
Not
not.
as long as Littlefinger's been playing this game. Come on, guys.
Yeah, but she's been
No,
trained
but
by
she's
the best
a
now
faceless
too.
man.
Yeah.
Somebody said to me, I think it was on Twitter, what if Littlefinger was also a faceless man, and it like made me very upset.
That's
and I
funny.
don't want to think about it, but you guys can think about it.
That'd
It's
be
like,
kind of that'd be kind of amazing and awful at the same time.
Yeah, it'd be
Next
devastating.
week's episode is clocking in at 71 minutes, which will be the longest episode of this series until the finale, which is set to be 81 minutes. How do you think these extended cuts will play out? I think we'll get all of our
Yeah.
questions answered.
Yeah, everything.
There we go. One thing people are talking about, the fulfillment of the Hound's fire prophecy. He said, where the wall meets the sea, there is a mountain that looks like an arrowhead, and we see the arrowhead mountain in the trailer. Alicia, what is the significance of that mountain?
this is really cool, you guys. So if you remember last season when we saw the Children of the Forest literally plunging the I think it was Dragonglass into the Night King's heart. That's exactly where that took place. Like literally where that mountain is, and it's the other side of the mountain that's like where they are, and that's where the Night King became the Night King. So it's like literally the epicenter of a lot of this stuff. So I think there's a lot that could happen there, and a lot that are kind of is wrapped up in that. That's literally the scene we're seeing right now.
Well, then yeah,
Like,
so
literally
Bran
right
couldn't
there.
possibly be the Night King, right?
Well, unless he was a Brandon. Like if he was
Oh,
a
I
Brandon,
see.
if
Yeah,
the Stark,
it could
because
be.
there is a long.
All right, I still support my theory. Yes.
Yeah, there's
It's a cool
it's
theory.
really it really could be true, Toba, and I didn't really think about that.
What
but
if
it's
what if I'm guys? What if I'm right? And I have the answer. If I am right, can we have a pizza party at
Yes.
the finale of the
I
show?
think you
Please.
can do one Nerdist
Yes.
news. It's just your theory on loop from this
Yeah.
episode.
Can we? If I end up being right at the end of this season, at the end of all of it, can we have a pizza party?
I will cosplay as Podrick and
An
Squire.
ice cream
Yes.
and pizza
No,
party.
ice cream and pizza?
Yeah, because ice fire!
Oh God, I hope to God.
If you are right,
We are children.
if you are right, I bend the knee to you.
Yes, I want everyone to bend the knee to me if I end up being right.
I
You
will
got
bend the
it.
knee.
All right, so that is it for today's Talks Back. Be sure to watch today's Nerdist News because we're breaking down everything Jon Snow's heritage means for the future of Game of Thrones. We will see you all tomorrow for an all-new Talks Back at 1 p.m. Pacific, live on YouTube and Alpha. Have a great day and bye!
Ooh.